Friday, September the 5th, 2025. Year is whizzing by. Here I am at Hever, Kent. Cracking day for walking. Sunny intervals. Down in the Weald, delightful. We've had a bit of rain over the last few days, but I wouldn't expect that to be anything to worry about, such as the dryness of the ground. Today's walk is a new one to me, Hever to Dormans, and written up by a new author. So let's see how we go. I do like the fact, however, that he's made numbered points on the notes. So as I said in the past on these walks, Saturday Walkers Club walks, it's always useful to have those notes, albeit that these days I tend to use a GPX more. So only crucial when I'm making an absolute point, really. Got about 10 miles to do today. It's now coming up noon, so should be done by easy 5, including breaks. Do like this area, as regulars will know. I will have walked some of this before, no doubt, but not a problem in the Weald. Lovely area. Temperature today is around 20 degrees, and the only annoyance at the moment is all these jets up in the air. I don't recall that being an issue in the past down here. Anyway, certainly is now a problem. Let's crack on. Wasn't that long ago since I was last here, because I do recall filming this carriage in the station car park. And the station, which appears now to be offices at the front or a residence, can't really tell which. Nicely done up anyway. Very interesting flowers here. No idea what they are. Well, usefully, Google thinks they're cyclamen. That's a tool that I didn't have in the past. Google scan, very useful. Decent vista on my left as I leave the station entrance. Now turning right on the Eden Valley walk here into Chippens Lane, as I did last time I was here. Last time I took this left, but today we continue straight on down the lane. Crossing over the second of the two streams mentioned in the text, and very obvious water levels are down, as I suspected. So just by this property, newish property with solar panels on the roof, take the footpath to the right, half right. Further evidence here, low water levels. However, I don't think it'll be very long before these are filling up rapidly. Based on previous years since COVID, i.e. the last 5 years, it's all too clear that we're getting a kind of pattern now of wet grey winters from about October to March, even April, and hot dry summers. So need to pack some walks in before it's too late. Because it will be, you wouldn't be able to walk down here soon. October on really is a bit tricky terms of underfoot. But jet noise aside, thus far, about 20 minutes in, very pleasant walking. Lovely walking temperature under the leaves. Bird songs returned, wonderful. Passing under the railway line, the Uckfield line. This woodland is called Oak Wood per the map. Although, as you can see ahead of me here, got a hornbeam down by the looks of it. Lots of the acorns I'm seeing on the ground are green, which is a bit worrying. Don't know if they'll grow or can be eaten that way. Passing some paddocks outside Bramsall's farm on the map, and this isn't really very considerate, is it? Dumping manure right on the footpath, which is onwards there. Out onto a lane where we turn left in towards Markbeech. Yes, it's quite a busy road. Luckily we're not on it for long. And as you can see, we're in the vicinity of Hever Castle. This is the recommended lunchtime pub stop, if I recall, or the village for it. Self-explanatory. Village Hall, I presume. Holy Trinity Church, Markbeech. The Kentish Horse is in fact a possible early lunchtime stop. Yeah, the official lunchtime stop, if I remember correctly, is in Cowden. We turn off just in front of the church here by the wastewater treatment works. Okay, the notes suggest going through this gate here, but it actually has a lock on it, so you can't. But I have found the way round this. Through this little jungle immediately next to the church perimeter. Take a right and you're back on track, as you can see there. And this metal one's locked as well, so they don't want you to go through that. I think the way round this is to go through the cemetery, through this gate which is in the cemetery, and continue with the notes for now. Final view of the church. There's cattle of the day. Luckily they're not in my way. Friesians as well, or Herefords, one or the other. Dubious breed. My journey's down the side, and we're actually above the railway line here, because I see an air shaft marked on the map. Next takes us to the corner of this field, and clearly from the wear and tear there in the vegetation, it has been used, but it's now fenced off with barbed wire. It's been diverted slightly through this gate. Let's take a look. Yeah, here we are, stile next to to the right of a metal field gate. Passing an old woodland property over there. Unsure if it's abandoned. This beach, we take a right, and that cottage may be Lambert Cottage, because the woodland around it is named after the cottage, Lambert Cottage Wood. per the map. Then passing another property called the Grove, somewhere in there. And judging by the tyre marks, this still looks used. Strong smell of petrichor in here. Wonderful. Jet noise is calming down a bit, but still omnipresent in the background. Be a long wait for a bus over there. Wonder how that got there. Path normally would go straight ahead here, but there's some building works going on. Hope I can get past this building. Yeah, Harnett Claydene Farm is where this diversion is. Let's hope it gets me back on track at the bottom of the field. The diversion's been well signposted thus far. Interesting design homes anyway. Pretty much metal from what I can see. So there isn't an indication to turn off at the end of the fence there, but the path is now evident, and of course a good old GPX helps. I'm now aiming for the bottom corner there. Still hear the jets in the background, unfortunately. Less so though. Now in Cowden, where I plan taking my lunch. Coming up 2 o'clock. So this is Cowden. Recommended lunchtime stop is here. Not sure where, mind. I'll film it if it's on my itinerary, but I won't go out of my way to it today. Google it if you're interested. I'll give you the name shortly. Not much of a village sign. I wonder what the significance of that is. A couple of pieces of pine needles, it looks like, here in the bus shelter. Interesting rights of way map. And here we have St Mary Magdalene. I've never seen one of those at the entrance before. The church is open, so I'll have a look in there after lunch. It's now 10 to 2. And there's a welcoming seat for me. So 2:30, lunch has been had. Let's have a little look inside St Mary Magdalene now. No entrance for wildlife though. The old bell tower. A little bit of history there of the church. Interesting way of getting into the bell tower. like there's going to be a wedding in here tomorrow, hence this decoration. May they have long and happy marriage. As usual, let's have a look at the old organ. Yep, all set up for the wedding. Yeah, some lovely stained glass. Various saints on there. There are some other seats round about. So this church is exactly 4 miles into the walk so far, leaving us with about 6 to go. There is the lunchtime stop, a Harvey's of Lewis pub, the fountain. Check that out online if you're interested. The fountain, Harvey's of Lewis brew. Now following Spode Lane out of the village, and by all accounts once we leave this road, that's it for around 5 miles until we get to Dormans land. i.e. no roads, just footpaths and bridleways. Kind of walk I like, nice and remote. So, now entering Waystrode Manor, leaving the roads behind us. As I said, looks like an interesting place. Thought they were preparing for Halloween early, but this chap looks like a permanent fixture. Google that if you wish to learn more about Waystrode Manor. Here's an example of how little water there is in the water table here. Just a few months back this would have been full, no doubt about it. But as I said earlier, I don't think it'll be very long before it's full again. Such is the nature of the environment at the moment. Lovely Tudor building there. That must be the manor house. Now on the Sussex Border Path. I've now left the Sussex Border Path and I'm aiming for Ravenscross Farm through this pleasant woodland belt. A bit quieter now. Flurry of jets. Still audible, but less so. Another little stream that's all but dried up. Shocking. Shoot the dogs. Yeah, I know I've done this before. In reverse though. Recognise this section. Passing Leighton Manor. Over this newish footbridge. Here there's no water underneath. Pretty sure I'm seeing more metallic gates these days than in my previous jaunts in this area. That's good to see. I think these are the first sheep I've actually seen today, despite all the signs indicating otherwise. Approaching Crippenden Manor on the map. So got through Crippenden Manor and its estate, no problem. Some people give me the eyes though, walking through. Obviously not used to seeing walkers passing through their estate. Now walking through 10 Acre Wood. Again, lovely smell of petrichor. Not much in the way of bird song currently, though I did just hear the warning note of a nuthatch, so obviously that must have spotted me. No deer around either. So you come out of 10 Acre Wood to this wonderful vista. That's my direction next, left. Well, I mentioned deer a second ago. There's a herd of them over there. I think by the white tails that they fallow. No, they've got those long ears. Different perspective of the valley view now. About 450 foot up here. This is the exit for the Sussex Border Path. So looking at the map, you could shorten the walk if you wished by taking the Sussex Border Path, coming out at this junction where I'm stood currently. This woodland on my left is called Willow Bed, interestingly. Full of oaks, mind. Final view down the valley. Wonderful view. Very unspoilt. It's one of the beauties of the Weald. Man's influence is minimal. Been by far the worst section underfoot, and again, as usual, horses are the cause. So we're still on the Sussex Border Path, taking the path towards Beech's farm on the map. Delightful, this. Very quiet and remote, apart from the odd plane, as you may be able to hear. Taking a right here at this junction, now joining the Vanguard way towards Dryfield Farm. or dry hill rather. This field represents an old hill fort per the map, and that trig point is marked as 172 metres. Per my altimeter, we're 543 foot above sea level, so 317s would be 510, so not far wrong. And just over there on my left is a reservoir per the map, Dry Hill Reservoir, Sutton and East Surrey water. Another decent vista as we descend. Not far to Dormans land now. Wonderful. Save the jet noise again. Lovely vista day. Trees everywhere, that's what I like. And good native hardwoods as well. Interesting collection of bug houses. VE Day memorials. Matthews Bug Hotel. Sorry, no vacancies. No, that doesn't surprise me, mate. Like many hotels in this country currently. Buckingham Palace. Amazing, out in the middle of nowhere. Or perhaps I'm a bit closer to Dormans land than I think. Now following a high banked lane. That's Greathard Manor through the trees there. Greathed. Different terrain now. We're out into the fields. Woodlands have been cut down, turned into cereals by the looks of it. Yeah, poor tree down here in front of me. Little reminder here of what the paths can be like. So this section, as we're on the edge of Dormans land now, could be a bit dubious after rain. Now walking through Dormans land recreation ground, and they've got a happy to chat bench here. Decent views for a wreck. Wind's picking up a bit now, and quite calm today. A final woodland section before we reach Dormans station. It's just gone 5 o'clock, so I won't be getting the 1710. 1740's next one. So there goes the 1710. Half hour wait now to the next one, but no problem. So here we are back at Dormans. 5 hours and 10 minutes later, and I'm going to say 10 miles because my pedometer packed up, so I don't know exactly how many I walked, but I'll go by the author's mileage, and it's 10 miles. Very decent walk that. The only factor that spoils it slightly, in my humble, is the jet noise. Funny enough, you can't hear it here, so shame. But another Wealden Wonder, particularly at this time of year when it's drier. Give it another couple of weeks or so, and it will be damp in places for sure. Weather was very pleasant today, around about low 20s, with a very cool, almost non-existent breeze. So perfect walking weather. So yeah, new walk to me. I haven't been to this station before, I don't think either. So that's interesting. So that's free walk, or SWC walk 362 now. Completed. Till the next time.